How was everybody's new year? Was it awesome? John, how was your new year?
It was good. We stayed up until midnight.
Oh, that's good.
It was hard, but we did it.
That's good job. It's so funny, right? Because you get used to, oh, there's the little guys. How's the little guy's leg?
Oh, he's much fine. Better. He's much better.
It's dramatic for a week, but now he's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, that's good. It just takes a little bit of time. The little Chihuahua hit his leg on a corner, and he was like, no, yeah, for sure.
For a while there, it was only working well when we went outside for walks, and he would like climb up the big snow pile, and then we'd go inside, and he'd be limping again.
That's hilarious! Oh my gosh, he knows how to manipulate your little heart.
Yes, he's very good at it.
Yeah.
That is so funny. So today we are gonna have a little bit of a subject. I'm not sure how many people we're gonna have today, but we're gonna get it started because it's already 7 minutes past.
Yes.
So there's a couple of subjects I have planned for today, but before I do that, does anybody have any pressing questions? No? Okay, so what I'd like to talk to you today is about layering. Does anybody know what layering is?
Like building on stuff that they already know.
That's right. That's what it is. Is building on a stuff that a dog already knows. So there's a couple of reasons why I'm gonna talk on this one. Is because Mike with Vision, he is really amazing, and he actually had a phone call with me about some of the challenges that he had with Vision, and sharing, I realized when we were talking that there wasn't an understanding of layering. So layering can really make the relationship with your dog supremely amazing, like really, really special, because layering involves learning how to push your dog in a way that it can be successful, and it can keep every behavior fun and very motivating. So let's go over a very perfect example, which would be the watch command. Does anybody know how to do a watch command? All right, so basically you're gonna put the treat on your hand, you're gonna show it to your dog's nose, and then you're gonna bring it quickly to the side of your eyes, right against here. And then when they look at you, you say watch and yes. And then you reward the dog with the treat. Now, depending on how much focus you want, you can reward the dog really fast, yes, and reward right away. And that's if your dog has very little attention span. Or if your dog already has the ability to focus on you, you can actually do like really, really slow, where you're actually bringing the treat really, 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 really slow towards the dog, like super slow. Okay, so depending on how much focus your dog has, you can choose the speed. Now, so that will be a layering part, because as soon as your dog can look at you, you can now layer the fact that they can stay looking at you a little bit longer. So like if your dog doesn't have attention span, you can do that. You can do that part like really fast. Yes, boom, treat. Yes, boom, treat. Yes, boom, treat. Now, does anybody know the rule about when do you start layering a behavior? Okay, hold on, guys. I got one more person that's asking. It's so weird. I swear I put the link on the Facebook page, and people are not connecting. There. Okay. And so what I want to do with the next part is I am ready to layer a behavior when my dog can do the simplest behavior 9 out of 10 times correctly. So if I do 10 watches and my dog is getting a treat every time, okay, then I can then add a layer onto it. So because some people have been here at other phone calls, and other Zoom calls. So do you guys remember the 4Ds? Does anybody remember the 4Ds? Okay,
Distance.
so let's start with the first one. What do you say, Bruce?
Distance.
Perfect. So how would you add that as a layer with a watch command?
You're further away from the dog.
Yeah, but that's a little hard. So imagine you just taught your dog to watch you beside you. What can you do with distance to help your dog layer that behavior? So if my dog is on the right and I do a watch with my dog on the right, where can I move my body to make it a little bit different? So I'm layering it now. What do you guys think?
Keep
Yeah,
walking.
perfect. In front, like I'll take a step forward. Now have your dog a little bit more behind you, and then try to do 360 degrees around your dog. So that will be a layering. So if I can go 360 degrees around my dog, and I can ask a watch from any angle, and my dog turns, right? And of course, I can't ask a watch if my dog is already looking at me. So I have to wait for my dog not to look at me, and then I have to do a watch, right? Then I can walk around my dog like that. Then the next part about that is exactly what Bruce says, movement. Then can I do the exact same thing while I'm moving? And can my dog follow my look when I'm moving? So that's the next layer up. Okay, so that will be kind of like a distance thing, because now I'm moving, and then once I go 360 degrees around the dog, I can take a step away from the dog and do 360 degrees, a step away from the dog. So for example, for you, John, you have, the type of dog that you have, there's an infinite amount of layering that you can do with one specific behavior. Like they're working dogs, which means that the priority is to work. So that's really, really amazing. You in one training session, you can use so much layering. So that's distance. What's the next one?
Duration.
Duration. So how long does the dog have to look at me before I reward? So the second the dog look at me, what do I say? Yes, exactly. And then I can go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4, and then give my dog a treat. Okay, and then I say free. Because as soon as I don't want my dog to look at me, I gotta tell them free, don't look at me anymore. And then I can do it again, this time 2 seconds, then again 10 seconds, then again 15 seconds, then again 3 seconds, and I mix my duration, how long my dog is gonna look at me for. Okay, now why is the watch command so important? Anne was amazing, and she sent me a video of her little doggy on the couch, okay? And then as you're passing by, she's growling and being possessive of the couch. But you know what started the behavior? The watch. She stared at you and warned you, and we kept moving, didn't listen to the warning, and then she got more upset. Okay, so a great watch command in the couch, an association to watch and treat on their command will take that protectiveness away. If you guys get to the point where you can now stare at Buck and you can do watch command while he's eating, imagine how great that benefit of doing that. I would not do that until my watch command is solid outside and in the house, not while I'm eating, right? I want to establish that first. So that will be really good, really good to do. And do you know how to do a watch command? Okay, so let's go. Sorry, I can't hear you. You're muted. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, there. Okay,
no, obviously it's something to learn. But of course, I needed to get the video where she was really bad. But
that was a great video. That was pretty bad.
I don't have time to get it. And my friend was walking backwards and forwards.
Yeah, for sure. So you did good. That video was enough. I can tell how it would escalate. Like she was solid. And I saw it, huge dilated pupils. Like it was actually a really good video. So I'm gonna come over to your house this week and we'll work on that specific thing. But I will start getting that watch really solid. So she gets to understand that watching people doesn't have to be threatening.
Well, she's taken to me, so she feels she has to guard me all of the time.
Yeah, that's
You know,
normal for a
I'm
dog that
her
you rescue.
person. I mean, I no longer have the hassle of going to bed. At least I can get into my bed. I just tell her to go to your side, and she moves over and goes to her side without any issue. But
Yeah.
this is escalating downstairs, and it's always in the evening.
You know, there's only one solution to this trouble. Party at your house. We can all help you with your dog. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that we have to do. So we'll definitely, what I'll do is I'll come over to your house, and then we'll list some volunteers that want to help out too, that also want to learn about how to deal with a dog that has that particular issue. But you just need people come over and do the right procedures. We will help you with it. Right now, it looks like rocket science. That's why I'm covering layering today, because I think it's such a hard concept to understand. Even with a lot of trainers that I train, like trainers, they have a hard time understanding layering, and they tend to move too fast. So here's the thing. I cannot move to the next layer until the layer before my dog succeeds 9 out of 10 times. That's it. Like, I will not move on. I will continue doing that particular stage, that particular layer, until I get success.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Valley, what I was doing before was really arguing with her, telling her, no, that didn't seem to work. It made it worse. The last 3 days, every time she started, put her in the crate and say, time out.
No, right now, you shouldn't even have her on the couch.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay.
Because you don't know how to handle it. And every time she practices being aggressive, especially if she gets away with biting somebody, that fear that she created is rewarding for a dog. Remember that at the end of the day, a dog is a predator. So they actually thrive on lunging forward and doing things like that. Oh, here, hold on. Yes, let me answer another person with the trouble with the, I don't know what happened with the email link, guys. It may have somehow we screwed it up. It's okay. We're humans. We'll learn from it. Yeah, and then so let's go back a little bit. I'm gonna answer more of your question in a minute. Okay, but let's go a little bit more about the watch command. Now, there's a particular reason why we're talking about the watch command. If your dog has a lot of layering on the watch command, and they know it's very valuable for them to look at you, what can you not do? Like, the watch command is one of those behaviors that is absolutely foundation to an amazing relationship with your dog. Because, you know, I go to the dog park and with Senshin, and then a dog will growl at him, and you know what the first thing he does is look at me.
Yeah.
And I go like, yes, good job. That was awesome. So like that, you can actually do so many things when you have a well-layered watch command. Now, here's another thing. You can have a really well-layered watch command, but if you don't continuously work on it after a while, like I haven't taken Senshin to the dog park for a few weeks. So I'm sure if I go to the dog park now, I'm going to have to layer it up a little bit to get back to where she was before. Now, is it going to take me as long as it took me before? Absolutely not. It's going to be quite fast to layer it up, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of reloading to make it work again, right? Now, I don't know if everybody knows, it's on the Facebook page, but we have a field trip to the dog park. You don't have to bring your dog to the dog park, okay? It is okay to just come by yourself and learn, okay? And watch what happens and look at the way we're talking about the dogs and how they're communicating, because there's a huge learning process going on right there. And then once you learn a little bit and you see how we're handling other dogs, then that's the time to bring your dog to the dog park if you want to. But it's really awesome. Like when I actually read hundreds of books, did hundreds of classes, but I never learned more than going to the dog park. And I never had a dog with me. I actually went to the dog park so many hours without any dogs. So I could watch and I could learn how they talk to one another, how they communicate, when to stop something, when to add pressure, when to take pressure away, when to reward, when not to reward. That kind of stuff is really cool and really worthwhile to experience. So let's go back to layering. So I'm layering the watch command, and the first layer is gonna be distance. And so I'm gonna go beside my dog. I'm gonna ask for a watch command. There's many ways to do a watch command. I really like pointing to the side of my eye. That's my particular preference. Okay, I find it very helpful. It helps me with my body language. I lift up my elbow really high. It makes me feel very powerful. So then my dog wants to do it even more. There's other people do it differently. That's fine. I really like my elbow up and my hand here pointing. Okay, so then I layer it. I say watch. When the dog looks at me, I say yes, and I can reward ninja fast or really slow. And I'm gonna do my watch command. The first layer is, can I do my watch command 360 degrees around my dog? Can I do that? If I can be anywhere around my dog and my dog can do a watch command, that's great. Now, after that, it's gonna take a step away from the dog, and then can my dog do a watch command a step away from them? And then can they still do it? And after that, I'm not gonna keep adding distance, because distance gets hard the more you add with a watch command. So what I'm gonna do next for that particular layer is I'm gonna add movement. Can I walk with my dog beside me and say watch, and can they look at me? Okay, at this point, if I never layer the watch command while moving, what do you think I can do to help the dog?
Well, the treat.
Yeah, very good. Have the treat on the nose as you're walking and quickly bring it to your face and say yes and reward really quickly, right? So the dog is successful, right? So really like ninja fast, both ways, okay? And then when my dog can do it and I done 9 out of 10 times successfully, then I can do it again. This time, watch, hold for a second, and then reward. And this entire time I'm moving with my dog. I'm actually walking with my dog, okay? And you don't have to walk fast. You can walk really slow, because I certainly had a super hard time coordinating myself when I first started doing that. It's like, oh my gosh, moving all my body at the same time, right? So so that's important to do. Okay, the next step after that, what do you think is the next layer for that particular walk and watch? What is the next layer?
Difficulty.
Which one?
Distractions.
Distractions. What do you say, Bruce?
Difficulty.
Difficulty. Okay, I say neither, because how we added duration. What do you guys think? We haven't added duration yet. So like as soon as I added the movement, now I have to add duration. But the next one is both of you are right. The next one, distractions and then difficulty, because now we have duration and distraction. So now that will add difficulty. So that really does work. Okay, but so I'm sitting, my dog is sitting or laying down or standing, and I can do a watch 360 degrees, layer 1. Layer 2 is I take a step away. Layer 2, layer 3, I create movement, which is actually a form of distraction. So technically we're doing distance, duration, distraction, right? Because we added duration while we were doing the distance at the same time. And then we did a distraction, which is the movement. And now we have to build the duration, because distractions are really hard. So now we have to do duration on it. And then I did like amazing in my apartment. What do I have to do now? Yeah, every sentence with her lips. Go outside. And what's outside my apartment, you guys?
Distractions.
Yes, and the hallway. So I'm gonna go on the hallway and actually add all these layers on the hallway. If I don't have a hallway, I have a garage. If I don't have a garage, I have a yard. So now I'm slowly going to the outside world, working on this. Now, if you are honest with yourself and there's a behavior that you don't like from your dog, tell me with that particular behavior, how many layers have you put on the behaviors you do want? Because if I'm honest, I would say that I haven't done as many layers as I could.
Yep.
And that's why my behavior problem is still there and my new behavior does not have the value. You cannot force a dog to do anything. You have to convince them that there is enough value for them to do something you want for them to want to do it. And they're opportunistic bastards sometimes because they're predators. Right? So one day they may think the value that you gave was high, and the next day is like, forget it. I don't work for that.
Oh,
So,
you're
and
talking
that,
about Misty.
yeah, and that is what a predator does, just so you know. Like it is geared, it is programmed into their genetic encoding. So what is the key to be able to actually succeed with your layers is to have a lot of fun. That is actually the key. Not to think about training, but to think about having so much fun with your dog. I don't train 15 minutes a day. I train short sessions, really fun sessions with my dog whenever I have an opportunity. I am currently working with 14 dogs. My dog is the least of my priorities. So whenever I happen to pass by him, see him or something, I'm gonna work on some behavior that I'm trying to instigate. And I make it super fun for him, right? And it's fun for me too, because it's fast and also I don't demand too much. So then my dog learns actually quite fast because it's a lot easier to live like that. Like if you already have to take your dog out for a pee, do a watch with layers before you go out. You still have to go anyways and making fun for yourself. It's like, haha, look what my dog can do. And when you have a lot of layers, that's when people walk down the street going like this. Did you see that dog? Because layers are like, bring your dog to the next level of your communication. So that's really awesome, but it really takes layers. Avery has been volunteering with us, and every once in a while we go downtown Vancouver to work on our service dog test. And so we've been working on a couple of the challenges that our dogs have, our puppies. And of course, puppies are so unpredictable and they go through all these fear imprint periods. And one day they're great and the next day they have cramps and it, like the session sucks and you can't do anything. And then the other day they're like angelic and you're like, whoa, my dog's doing really great. But you know, like we were just building layers on one thing, being okay with tons of people acting weird. That was it. So anytime, there wasn't any particular behavior we were looking for, but anytime our dog was relaxed, we were praising, yes, reward, yes, reward. And we were building the layers up of how many people we have, where do we go, where do we sit, where do we do, all that kind of stuff, right? And every time I'm working with the dog, I'm thinking, what layer am I in? And I always do a quick reset. If I haven't worked with a dog in a while, I will quickly put them on a sit and see if I can step away from them. And if they break, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna layer out the sit. That's it. I'm gonna work on the sit because it's the most simple thing. And then after I get a sit, I can do a watch. I can't really do a watch without a sit because sometimes they get so distracted, they walk away and they start sniffing around or something. So I like a sit before a watch, right? So I may layer that sit just a little bit, even like 2 layers, and then start on my watch. And you'll be surprised what layering does, like the understanding of layering, how far you can get in 3 minutes with a dog. You can get crazy fast, crazy far on your training in 3 minutes if you know how to layer. Okay, so let's look at some questions that will come up when you're layering a behavior. Does anybody have an idea of a behavior they like to layer?
Maybe like being calm around other dogs.
Okay, sure. So that's really good. So let's layer that behavior. So what is the first thing that makes your dog not be calm?
Not be calm?
Yeah, not be
Seeing
calm.
the other dog.
Exactly.
Presence. Yeah.
What did you said, Bruce, near the other dog, right?
Yeah,
Having
seeing the other dog.
Exactly. So what is the first thing that you can work with layering?
Block the view.
No, because then you can't actually work with the behavior.
Make
But that
them
is
sit.
what?
Make them sit.
Even more simpler than that. So where is my dog? Where is the other dog? So what is
Distance.
the layer? Yeah, the distance between the dogs. That will be my first layer. After that, right on, I can do a sit. Right on. I can choose the simplest thing, or a watch, even a standing watch. I can choose the simplest thing. But the most important thing right now, the most important thing right now would be to definitely start doing any behavior at a distance that your dog is successful. That's the first step. So what is the purpose? What are we layering? We're layering being calm around dogs. That's our layering, okay? We're not actually layering the sit, the down, the all of those things. So my goal is actually distance from the dogs. That is my goal. So I'm gonna do any behavior so I can get closer to the dog. So for example, if I start working on like proximity 1, which is tossing a treat away from me, so my dog goes and gets it and then comes back to me. If I'm gonna layer that one, guess what I can do every time my dog comes back? I can take a step closer to the other dog. But because my dog is actually engaged on the proximity exercise, my dog is not actually gonna care that we're getting closer to the other dog. And all of a sudden, you're super close and your dog is just focused on hunting for you, chasing that treat. So proximity 1, for anybody who needs a reminder, is my dog looks at me for any reason, I say yes, I do a little jump and I toss one treat to the side. And then as soon as my dog looks at me or redirects to me or orients back to me, I say yes and I toss another treat to the other side. And then as soon as my dog looks at me or orients back to me, I say yes and I jump and I toss another treat to the side. So I have to do a minimum of those 3 times, a minimum. And I already got close to the dog. So that's actually part of it. So now also another thing to consider with this particular layering is the word that Avery actually said, which is, how can I get my dog? How can I get to layer being calm around dogs? So notice that at a distance, I'm actually asking my dog to release some energy by doing like proximity. So my first kind of like idea of my layering for being calm around dogs would be to actually exert a little bit of energy, because then it's easier for me to get closer to the dog and my dog to be calm. Right? So I'm looking at my behavior. What is it that I want? I want my dog to be calm around dogs. So the easiest 4D to work with at that point is actually distance. That's the easiest. So like the 4Ds are duration, distance, distractions, and difficulty. Those are called the 4Ds, and that's what we use to layer. Duration, distance, distractions, and difficulty. Difficulty being a combination of the first 3 or a change in location. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to look at the behavior that I'm looking for and ask what from those 4Ds was the easiest one. Distance, that's the easiest one on that particular behavior. Then the next thing is once I did a little bit of proximity, how else can I layer being calm around dogs? What's another behavior we can do after that proximity? What do you guys think?
Engagement.
Well, that's the same as proximity. There's movement.
Okay.
So something is slightly different.
Recall.
That's really good. So that's movement too, recall, but it's slightly different than engagement, because engagement and proximity and middle and other things like that actually involve the dog choosing to look at you. But on this one that Bruce was saying, recall is I'm actually calling the dog to me. So how can I do it so my dog learns that being calm around dogs, that's what I'm layering with recall. Well, the best example would be the dog has to come walking away from the dog. So like I would put the dogs back towards the dog and then do my recall.
Isn't that very similar to backway engagement? That's what we've been doing a lot of the time. It's
Yes, but
"Now
back
wait."
away, that is not saying the recall word.
Okay. More words.
Yes. So like if you do engagement 1, it's just Maui, boom, back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if you do recall, what do you do with engagement 1? Maui, here.
yeah.
Okay.
More
Or
words.
Maui, touch. Maui, come. Maui, heel. Maui, between. Oh yeah, he's looking. I'm sorry, Maui, I'm torturing you. Like, what's happening?
Now he looks relaxed.
Yeah, he does. Right. So you guys understand? So that's the difference between a recall and a proximity game. So proximity engagement games do not have commands unless you want to teach the command. Like I do, like Senshi knows proximity, the word. Senshi knows middle, Senshi knows between, Senshi knows these words, but it's not necessary to teach those commands, right? So that's great, Bruce. So you nailed it. So I'm still spending energy with the dog. The dog is still moving, but now I'm actually telling them, can you actually perform a behavior when I ask you to around the dog? So I'm still a little bit farther away. I let my dog meander around with a little bit longer leash. And when they go near the dog or in the direction of the dog, that's when I call them off. And now they're completely turning the back towards the dog and then coming to me. So I'm layering that. Okay, so now I got a little closer because the dog is now coming to me and is beginning to care less and less and less about the dog. Now, just so we know, where can we go to do this?
Dog park.
Yes, exactly. That's why we have the dog park field trips. Exactly like that. It's because we're not going to go in the dog park. We're going to do layering of whatever we're looking for. Whatever. I don't know what we're going to be layering depending on what people want. But like I certainly going to layer in Senshin. I'm going to layer, don't even look at the dog. Because I want him to stop focusing on dogs. He hasn't been at a dog park in a long time. So he's going to be really excited to be there. Right? Okay, so now we have both movements, okay, of coming back. So what's the next step? What can we add now to create calmness? What kind of behavior can we add for calmness now? What do you think, John?
Slow treat.
Yes, but what do they have to do for the slow treat?
The same layered when there's other dogs?
No, so like we have so far, we spent a little bit of energy
Yep.
and the created movement. So
Yep.
what do we want now? So we before we wanted movement, what do we want now?
Stillness.
That's it.
Stillness, exactly. Good job, stillness. So what behavior can I ask my dog to make them still?
Sit.
Perfect. Sit. That's the next one. That's it. And then right after I get a sit with a little couple of layers and me walking away. Oh, what's the easiest thing to layer on a sit? Who can answer that?
Yeah.
So is it duration? Is it distance, distractions, or difficulty? What's the easiest one? With a sit, specifically with a sit.
Duration.
Duration.
No,
Distractions.
no. What do you guys think? Think
It's
about
gonna be
like
distance then.
distance. Yay! Slide in,
Well
slide
done,
out,
Beth.
slide in, and
Process
slide out.
of elimination.
Yes, that's right. But you know, so the sit is the reason why is the fastest distance is because they can't hold it that long. But you can actually make it hold it by coming out, coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out, coming in, sliding on the leash. And we'll show you all of that at the dog park. And I mean, for some of you that have taken classes with us, I mean, your leash skills of sliding in and sliding out, single most important thing ever. Because it allows you to progress really quickly on different behaviors. Right? But that will be, so then my first layer is going to be distance for my sit. Now, obviously, guys, if your dog cannot sit, why are we practicing at a dog park? That will be a living room exercise. First, then hallway, then garage, then driveway, then whatever, you know, then dog park. So that's like seriously difficulty, right? Serious difficulty at the dog park. So like, I'm not gonna assume that anybody who's coming to the dog park cannot do a sit, right? So the next step for that, so we did a sit, then what is the next amazing, most common thing a dog can do when they're on a seat near other dogs? What can they do?
Watch
Do
you.
they, pardon me?
Watch you.
Exactly. So the next layer will be the watch command. And that's when I do my ninja treats. Fast or
Oh.
really slow. Oh my gosh, the dog is like drooling. But that's creating such a good, happy emotion inside, right? And then I have to be careful because sometimes when I do my slow treat, my ninja treat, sometimes what happens is the dog feels like they can't hold it and they try a different behavior. So that means I made it too difficult because that was a failure, right? So remember, I cannot add a layer until my dog succeeds 9 out of 10 times. So then if my dog tried to jump up at me, I'm going to just speed it up a little bit to get my dog more successful. And I'm going to try that speed a couple of times until I can do 9 out of 10 times. Right? How does this kind of work looks like at a dog park? Because you can have long sessions. So what does it look like? It looks like you bring your dog out, you practice a few minutes, you bring your dog back in the car. Work with another dog. Then you bring your dog back out. Then you bring your dog back in. Then you bring your dog back out. And in 1 hour, you had 4 or 5 sessions, right? For like short periods of time. And your dog was very successful. And then if you can push it, if you've seen the layers and you're happy with it, then you can actually go closer and actually let your dog socialize. And this is a lot of the times what happens with dogs is that people, and including myself, when I didn't understand this layering aspect, is I would go to the dog park and the first thing I would do is let my dog just play with all the dogs. Because it was my understanding that you can build frustration if you don't let your dog just play. But you know what? That didn't work out. Because when I just let my dog play, my dog would never listen. And for the first 15 minutes, it was like hellish. Like I can't get my dog to do anything for me. It's useless for me to try anything. So that doesn't really work.
That was me. Took Buck to the dog park today. So you're kind of speaking to my soul.
Yeah. So like, and then I just don't have any control. So what I started doing is I started, doing research on best protocols. And I really like in Budapest, they have this study called the Dog Pet Project. And what they do is they stop giving commands and they only work through mimicking. It's been a couple of years since the study's been running. And so what that does is that it is absolutely invaluable that you make yourself more important than anything else in your environment. So the way they do it, like imagine if you can't give a command, what do? You just stop, right? And if the dog stops, you reward. You sit. If the dog sits, you reward. You lay down. If the dog lays down, you reward. So you're doing everything by mimicking. So you get an actual experience with your dog, where your dog is really in tune with your body. And one of the things that they said that one of the biggest challenges they had when dogs would come into the project is that they were dogs that they called dog focused. So they weren't people focused, they were dog focused. So they will pick up cues on other dogs and imitate other dogs instead of the humans. And they were constantly doing that. So those dogs were a lot harder to create empathy with and for them to mimic the humans because they were so dog focused. And then when I look at my career and I look at how I have created some dog focused dogs, I definitely did too much dog park, for sure. Where my dogs were like constantly like socializing and getting more value from the dogs than from me. Like, because I mean, imagine you're with a dog and you're a dog and you get to play chase and you're having a blast and that dog makes you feel so blissful. That dog got a ton of points and I can't do that. I mean, the only way I can do that is if I run off a mountain downhill with my agility, my dog wouldn't be able to keep up, right? Because downhill is hard for dogs. Uphill, easy breezy. They can do uphill 10 times faster than a human, but not downhill. You can be faster than a dog. if you know how to do it. But like, imagine trying to do that with 14 dogs just so they think you're more special than the dog next door that they play with. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen, right? So what that means is that I really have to put some emphasis being outside the dog park, doing all this value creation, all these exercises, and then letting the dog play at the dog park. Because then once they're playing at the dog park, they're like angels. Once you did that, you have total control. And they're super mellow and they don't get intense. And obviously, there's cheat. What is it called? You know, when you want to cheat on a test?
Cheat
sheet.
Thank you. Sheet. Got it. And so what I would do is I would walk my dog beforehand, before going to the dog park, right? I wouldn't use the dog park as an outlet for exercise because it'll be too hard. So what I would do is I will walk my dog before, and then I take them to the dog park. And that's only when I'm starting to do the layering. Because once you do the layering, it doesn't really matter, right? I can do it anytime. I can, even if I don't exercise my dog, I'll have that value. But when I first starting, I definitely have to set up myself for success. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of a review. What does layering mean? Specifically, layering means using duration, distance, distractions, and difficulty to increase the value, the fun, the magnetic attraction, the wanting, the excitement that your dog has for a particular behavior. There is never force within this. It is 100% based on having fun. That's how you layer something. So you want to have the ability to use the 4Ds to make an exercise be amazingly valuable to a dog. Now, there's another level of layering too that I haven't mentioned. And this will be for another Zoom class. And that is layering several behaviors together to create a bigger one. Like, for example, you hear the bell ring at the home, and what you do is you run to your bed, lay down, and do a belly up. That's 3 behaviors minimum. If you look at it, it will be like, if you look at it just broadly, you will say there's 3. There's going to the bed, laying down, and belly up. But there is actually way more than that. There is identifying the bell, living away from the bell, identifying the bed, marking of the bed without breaking, laying down on the bed, okay? And then ignoring the person entering the house and doing a belly up command under distractions. That's 7 layers at least. Okay, so that's the next step. So when you're talking about, when you're seeing a movie, okay, and you're seeing all these dogs do different things on the movie, it's all layers, right? But I have to work on the first layer first, which is going away from the door. When I hear the doorbell, right? Going away from the door, going away from the door, going away from the door, so many times. And I can do that with a proximity game. I'm not even sending them to the bed. I'm just going away from the door, going away from the door, going away from the door, going away from the door. And I can do that at my mom's house, at my friend's house, at my house, everywhere I go. Ringing the bell means go away from it. Ringing the bell goes away from it. I'm gonna layer that one first, then the next, then the next, then the next, then the next, right? So do you see how when you're in a place, so it would be so easy for you guys to never learn how to do any of this and to just always hire me and pay me to do everything for you. But at the end of the day, how can you give to others? How can we evolve the human-dog relationship if I'm not giving you all the knowledge that you need, all of it? You should be on vacation in the middle of an island on a boat with your dog with a problem and no cell reception, and you feel comfortable, you can deal with it. And you can actually, even better than deal with it, actually come back with a better relationship with your dog learning something new and walking like a champion. Okay, and that's where actually understanding these concepts comes from. Because when you understand all the tiny little details of this, that's actually when you can make magic with a dog. So again, our concept for today is layering. This is a concept. So we talk for everybody who's been here before. We have talked about the brick wall. So we're going to go over that because this is a brand new year. So on a brand new year, it's so phenomenal to just go over how you actually change behavior, how you actually improve yourself, your dog, your life in general. What do you do? So first of all, every single living creature has a wall of understanding on their head. The wall of understanding is made of bricks. Every brick is a word, a concept, something that's either well-established, emotionally charged, missing, or just broken a little bit. Whenever you have a lot of those bricks, that determines your reaction in particular moments of time. How you're gonna, like, for example, if somebody calls you stupid, and the word is stupid in your brick has a lot of charge because you heard it when you were little and you didn't like it and people made fun of you and they called you stupid, and it has a lot of emotion. It's kind of crumbled that brick. If somebody calls me stupid, automatically, without me even thinking, I'm gonna feel bad. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna feel bad whether you like it or not. So because that's what's on your wall. So what I wanna do is I wanna fix that brick. I wanna actually delete that word, what it means, put it back into place because it exists, so I can avoid it, but put it without charge. Now for us humans, always talk about it. I will talk about it as long as I live because this is how I help myself use Technoture. For dogs, those bricks are like concepts, actual concepts, like focus. They don't have words, so it's broken down a little bit different, like focus, like confidence, like engagement, like prey drive. Those are all the concepts they have on their brick wall. So if they're damaged, missing, like for example, Anne rescued this amazing little girl. So let me show you guys. So cute. Okay. Here. Check this little baby. Cutest thing ever. See that? And when she came to Anne, she couldn't even think. She was so terrified. Now this is a Jack Russell. Okay, they're riders of the world. Like they never give up. They just will go on forever, right? And she can't even hunt. What do you think her soul is like? What do you think her brick wall is like? I mean, she can't even deal with walking down the street because she's freaking out every second. So we had to build brick by brick. Did you know that you can hunt? Did you know that this is what dogs do? Prey drive first, proximity, brick by brick. It took forever. And now she can walk down the street and not freak out so much. We still work to be done. Like you saw, she still gets a little bit of possessive behavior and stuff like that, but we're working on it. Sorry, cat on the phone. And so things like that, right? So those are the bricks. So for this new year, one of the things that you can do to think about is what are the biggest bricks that affect you in your life? What are your biggest triggers that affect you in your life? What is the thing that no matter what, it always upsets you and you want to work on? And you can contact me privately and I can help you with those individual bricks about you. And you know why? Because your dog is your mirror image. So fix yourself so you can fix your dog. Your dog will be a mirror reflection of who you are. So that's a good thing because they show a lot of your beauty and a lot of the things that are powerful in you, but they're also going to show you what you need to work on. And then you'll get the challenges that you need in order to move forward as well. And then you can choose certain bricks for your specific dog. Like for example, you know, a brick could be, I want my dog to be great at finding mushrooms in the forest that I love to cook. Another brick could be, I want my dog to be able to, let's say another brick that we can do could be like actually do a down stay while I'm at a coffee shop while the other dogs are walking by. So that could be my brick that I'm gonna work on, layering that downstay. That is actually,
Misty's background.
yeah. So that downstay specifically is actually under obedience. So that will be the brick, obedience, right? I'm gonna layer my obedience. Okay, and then so those are the bricks. So for example, for this year for myself, just to share with you, so I have my partner is moving with me, like where he's moving, he lives in Quebec and he's moving to Squamish. So it's a great, amazing experience. But one of the things I've been like feeling fear about is being able to take care of the household and work and the partnership and everything. And there's a little bit of like fear that I have, insecurity about that. So one of the bricks I want to deal with right now is going to be educating myself on time management. Because if I can understand how to do things a little bit more effectively, I'm going to feel less insecure about being able to do everything. Right? Another one that I'm working on myself particularly is also what I eat, nutrition. So obviously with the winter holidays, my family is Italian and Mexican, terrible combination in sweets and things. So I want to start cooking a little bit more healthy and learning how to do some sweets that are actually healthy. So I don't have to let that go, but I actually don't have to gain weight with the holidays, and I can teach all my family. So that'll be really fun. Right? So this is some examples of like the bricks I'm gonna work on. And those are all triggers. Why is they triggers? Because, you know, when I look at myself in the mirror and I know that I gain a pound or two, I don't feel as confident. That's a trigger. Should my confidence be affected by the way I look? I would say not at all. Like those are just things that you can improve, but your confidence should never be shaken like that. Right? Like, how is that possible that tiny little thing already has me like down a little bit? So those are the things that you can actually change. You can actually change that. So that's no longer a trigger. I deleted so many triggers from my life by looking at them and saying, holy crap, I have a problem there. Let's work on it. And, you know, as a result, all the people around me, my dogs, my cats, my fish, everybody benefits from that. Because we don't live in a vacuum, right? We live with a team. So that's really cool. So, okay. So here is the challenge for everybody. There's a challenge. So for this new year, every Zoom call will have a challenge. And we have a couple of really cool like rewards and things happening when the challenges are achieved. So obviously we can't reward everybody because that'll be really hard. Excuse me, guys. See this excitement because of the cats. You guys hear that? They're like, oh no, I want to be with you. 1 second, I'm gonna help a little bit. Tío, les agarras unos dulcecitos y los tiras. So I'm asking my uncle that if they're quiet to toss some treats at them so they can help. So it can help with the excitement because what did the cat trigger? Prey drive, right? So what's the opposite of prey drive? Leaving away from the cat. So that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna give them a couple of treats if they're calm by tossing the treats. Aviéntalos lejos. Lejos, tío, lejos para que vayan por él. Yeah, perfect. And so the first challenge, okay, is gonna be choose 3 bricks that you're gonna work on yourself and 3 bricks for your dog. If you have multiple dogs, 3 for each. Okay. Now, you don't have to be very specific of how you're going to achieve it. That's none of your business yet. You can do that after. Now, you have 3 dogs, so I saw your faces. You have 9. Right? Some of them could be the same. Some of them could be the same. Like, it would be really, really awesome to have some tricks so you can make people laugh. But you can choose anything, really.
That's 15 for our household. That's a lot of bricks.
It is. You know what's funny is that you can actually do a lot of those bricks all at once. You'll see once we go over them. Okay. Now I have a couple of requests for new Zoom calls. We did create a schedule for the year. However, your suggestions and your challenges always overtake priority from our schedule. So if there's something that anybody particularly needs, you can always private message me on Facebook. You can send me a text, or you can send me a voicemail. I don't know, anything you want. And then we can talk about that in the Zoom class. Okay. And then, but we do have a schedule for the year. Like every month we have a certain amount of things that we want to cover, but we will, if people have particular challenges, we will also consider those and then put them up if that's necessary. Okay, so for the challenges of every Zoom call, there has to be a way to have proof. So you have to send them to us. You don't have to put it publicly. You can send it on a private message, but you can send it to us, and we will write it down and we will help you, and we will be your accountability partner for this year. Now, remember, these bricks are for the year. We're not taking for the month. So it's actually, when you're thinking about it, 3 bricks is nothing. You know how many bricks I had to shape last year? I counted total on my new year. I reshaped 35 bricks in 1 year. So that means there were 35 things I noticed that would make me feel upset, angry, sad, too excited, or too intense. And I actually went and looked at them and I worked through them. Okay, so that is hard work, but you become a better person if you don't have triggers. And that's the truth. You're stable. You can talk to people, you can help others, you can help yourself. This is really cool to find stability. It feels amazing. You can really enjoy a sunset. You can really enjoy a sunrise. You can really enjoy a walk when there's no triggers. You have peace of mind. When you have triggers, it haunts you, even when you're not even thinking about it. It affects your body, how you move, how you feel. So that's why, like, for example, when Anne just first got her little girly, right? She was so tense. Her body was like hard. It was like, holy, wow, you're a ball of stress all together. And now she's so much relaxed, so much more. It's amazing to see the change in the body. Have you guys ever heard of Thai massage? Okay, Thai massage reaches your bricks. It hurts like hell. It's like super deep tissue and you feel completely different. Like you emotionally feel really calm. It actually, like, memories, your cells hold memory. So if you're stressed, they're holding that memory. They get tense and rigid and things like that. So for our own health, it's good for us. Okay, does anybody have any question?
I do, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure, Sheila. Go for it.
So I'm just trying to get a better idea of of a brick, like an example of a brick. So like for my dog, let's say, for Roxy. So for example, like she doesn't want to ever leave her little corner of the couch when Tyson is in the room, or even really if he's in the house. She's very much sort of restricts herself to that spot. So is that like, that's her brick? Like I need to work on, like, that's her brick, but one of her bricks.
You would have to phrase it a little bit different, because that doesn't make any sense, right? So what you would do is you would want to do mark training, because mark training moves in moving yourself from different spots in a room or outside. Or that's what you will want to do. You will want to get a really solid mark. That will be a nice brick. Because after that brick is done, you're going to have such an easier time doing anything else. But you're right. Your brick could be confidence around men, or confidence around my husband, right? That could be your brick. That is your brick. But the first step for that is a really big brick right now. That is really broken. Really broken, right? So I can't start there. It's like just like I was talking about the dogs being calm around dogs. I can't start next to the dog park. Like I actually have to have a little bit of distance, right? So for you, the next most important thing will be mark training. Have a really solid, remarkable mark.
Okay.
That
I don't know
that-
if we've covered that, so I'll have to.
no, we haven't done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
we have-
okay.
yeah, but you know, we can do that. We can have that.
Okay.
Do that as well, and then so we can do the mark training, and then we layer mark, layer, and then after that, going to your big brick that feels huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that's an excellent example. That's an excellent example.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm. Does anybody else has any questions? No? Okay, we're done for today.
Okay.
Amazing, guys. Thank you for being here. As always, share it with people, spread the word. We're here to help others, help ourselves, and create a better world, evolving the human-dog relationship.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
Happy New Year and thank you.
Valley, happy New Year.
Ciao.